We wanted to remind you before the show kicked off that Workbench Con's coming up in February, and we'll three be there giving a talk on Friday and Saturday about the power of podcasting together. So if you haven't already got your tickets, go Google Workbench Con and pick up your tickets before they're all sold out. Lastly, we're sorry that it's been so long since we recorded an episode. However, we're going to wrap up with my personal episode and then Sam's episode, and we are already set to record for the new year with some awesome guests and a new show format. Welcome to Woodshop 101. This is episode 145 for January 18th, 2019. On today's show, I'm going to give you a shop tour. I'm going to talk about my favorite projects and how I enjoy podcasting. I'm Jeremy Crawford of the Countryside Workshop, and my co-hosts who aren't joining me today are Drew Short of Rockin' H Woodshop and Sam Wooddell of SamRyan Designs. I would like to thank our supporters, John Ramminger, Sean McHenry, Carl Mose, Neil Sims, Eric Rhoten, and Jeb Braswell. If you would like to support the show, you can head over to woodshop101podcast.com/support, where there'll be links for small one-time donations and recurring donations. If you want to become a patron of our Patreon campaign, then head over to www.patreon.com/woodshop101. All our patrons receive an after show twice a month as a benefit. You can also support the show by buying your Woodshop 101 podcast t-shirt, hoodie, or Rev Marker pack. Head to countrysideworkshop.com/shop for the link. All right, welcome back. I'm going to give you guys a shop tour, kind of how my shop stands at how it is today, though it won't be like this much longer. I'm actually in the process of kind of moving things around, getting a little bit more efficient workflow and reducing some of my tool stand size just to get myself that little extra room to be able to get bigger projects done out here. All right, we'll start right here, which is going to be the new backdrop of my videos. I'm also going to have a tool wall right here. So not all my tools, but some of my hand planes and chisels, some of my more needed tools that I just want to reach for, kind of get them out of cabinets and show and kind of display them. It's going to go right up here. That's a work in progress. But right in front of that is going to be my workbench. All right, so this is my simplified split top Roubo workbench that I built out of some reclaimed Malaysian acacia. Kind of difficult to say. I kind of modeled this after the Wood Whisperers split top Roubo, but it's greatly reduced and simplified. I used floating tenons in the joinery. You could use dowels or dominoes, something like that. And then I reinforced them with pocket holes. Again, I wanted this to be something that was easy for everybody to build and not get with the super complicated dovetail joinery and mortise and tenons. So this right here is going to be the heartbeat of my shop, and this is where most of my work is going to start happening. Right, so as we move on around the workshop, as you see, this is kind of a mobile tool storage built off of some plans and hardware from Simpson Strong Tie. On top of it, I have my rigid oscillating spindle sander, which is just a workhorse. It is a beast of a tool, and I'm really glad I have it. Then I have a smaller Rikon, I believe it's a 5-inch or 4-inch disc sander with a 1-inch belt on it. Again, I use it for some shaping needs. Doesn't get a whole lot of use, but when it does get used, it's really handy. I have my grandfather's Craftsman drill press. This is one of the last major tools I have in my shop of his, and it's kind of hard to get rid of it. But again, when needed, it is a beautiful tool to work with. And under here, I have a Steel City planer. Unfortunately, just about a week or two after I bought it, they went out of business. But it is their deluxe with the helical head in it. And I also have my air compressor down below there. Right here behind me is my miter saw station, where I have my Ryobi sliding 10-inch miter saw. It is a great saw for what it is. However, I have difficulty keeping it square to itself, so I might be looking to upgrade this here pretty soon. And then this monster wall behind me is all my clamps. All my parallel clamps and then all my accessory clamps over here on this awesome rack from Fix This Build That's Plans. I finally have my clamps up on the wall and they're super easy to use. Let's go ahead and move on around the shop. All right, and this is one of the more complicated areas of the shop. It's also the dead center. This right here is a reclaimed kitchen island that we used in our house back about 5 or 6 years ago. And then it had no place and it got moved out to the shop. And it has worked out great as an assembly table slash workbench, because this is all I had until I built that Rubo. Let me get to why it's complicated in just a second. Right behind it, you'll see my table saw. This is a saw stop contractor saw, 1 3/4 horse, but it is their one that is outfitted with full cast iron wings, a 36-inch T-glide fence, has the 4-inch dust collection and all the bells and whistles on it. So it is essentially the cabinet saw without the cabinet. And it is a great saw. I just picked that up at the end of 2018. It creates the problem for the assembly table because it actually is a little bit lower. My last table saw was a little bit lower, but because it was a job site saw, I was able to throw some plywood up under it to raise it up just high enough to clear the top of this assembly table, which is 36 inches tall. This will be getting replaced very soon to build a more dedicated outfeed table that has more than 2 drawers and gets rid of the cabinets. I'm looking at possibly incorporating my air compressor into it to kind of free up some other spots in the shop. And it will be on a more of a mobile base that is more aesthetic pleasing and gets rid of this huge 36 by 36 inch top that doesn't really get used. A lot of things just get pushed on it and moved around. So this right here will be changing. It's the next big project coming out into the shop right next to that table saw. Again, table saw is awesome. I love it. It has changed the workflow. I've been able to do things a little bit faster and a little bit quicker. As we move on around the shop, I kind of show you what's on the far side wall. As you can see, here's my garage door. This is as if I were to enter it. And then directly in front of me, this direction, is my door that goes into the house. So let's go ahead and move around and I'll show you what else I have. All right, so over here in this corner, you can see my finishing cabinet right here. This is where I keep all my finishes. This is actually where I display all my stickers from all the wonderful makers and woodworkers that take part in that sticker swap. Right above it is my J. Bates inspired lumber rack. I don't try to keep a lot of lumber on hand, so it does good to hold 4, 5, 6 pieces that I do like to keep in the shop. I just find if I keep it on hand, I don't really ever use it. In fact, I have quite a bit of maple up here that I actually moved from Texas here back in 2016, and I had it in Texas probably a good 2 years. So I need to get that used and kind of resupply it with some more stock that I'm going to use, but I try to keep on hand what I'm going to use into a project. All right, so right next to my finishing cabinet is my Craig router table. It's their precision router table, and it's awesome. I have the DeWalt 2 1/4 horsepower mounted in it. I would like to upgrade to like a 3 or 3 1/4 horsepower, but I haven't met anything that has needed the additional horsepower yet. Again, the table, or the router table is really awesome. It's sturdy, and I'll be building some storage for it pretty soon to kind of get my bits and everything in one place and all the accessories for the router. And I'll probably go ahead and include all my router accessories in there, even for handheld use. Now, right next to it is my bandsaw. I don't use the bandsaw a lot, so I only have a little 10-inch Rikon, their 305. It is a beast of a little table saw. In fact, I think it has the largest resaw capacity of any other table or bandsaw in its size. I think it's about a 4 or 4.5 inch resaw capacity. It serves my purpose. Because I have a small shop and some of my other tools I've kind of upgraded to have larger tools, This one unfortunately has had to stay its size, but in the next year or two, it is on the plans to upgrade up to a 14 or a 16 or an 18, something bigger. I will keep this one though, just for those curves. I'll keep that smaller blade on it and then use a larger one for more resaw capacity, which I would like to get into. Let's keep moving on around the side of the shop and I'll show you what else I have. All right, so as I move down the wall, I have my Rhoten lathe, which is awesome. In fact, this is several years old. It's back when the company was still putting out green tools. This is not their variable speed, but it's super easy, quick to change the belts, and I love it. I haven't got a lot of turning done in the last year or two, and I miss it. I'm gonna get back into it here pretty soon. All right, so the last wall of the shop here, right down here in the corner, I have my TV, where I kind of watch some YouTube videos or throw up some other computer things up on there, with a little desk area that I built in with this shop-made torsion box countertop. Right now it's holding batteries because I'm gonna build a battery charging station. But as we go along, you see I have a little bit more hand tool storage right along here with some bins for some optional added accessories. Haven't quite filled this out yet, but as you see here, this is why I need to build so much more storage into the router table and into the assembly table or the new assembly table, because everything just kind of clutters right here on this surface. This is the problem I had before I built this countertop, and now I've extended it and I've just kind of shoved the problem on down. So this right here has got to get cleaned up and put into some much needed storage. The last big shop purchase I got of 2018 back in the fall is right over here, so let's show you that. So right here is the last big purchase, and this is the Shapeoko Extra Large. It has the DeWalt 611 router in here, and it is awesome. It even has the Suck It Dust Boot system to collect all the dust. This has become super useful and handy in my shop. I haven't even touched the surface and the capabilities that it's going to offer, but in the future I'm hoping to be able to knock out some templates and some other things on this. I'm going to show you one more thing in my shop that's super useful and super handy. All right, the last few things I have in my shop are actually up on the ceiling. This is the Ryobi garage door opener that I first put in here when I moved into the shop a few years ago. The versatility of it is just amazing. I don't use the extension cord on the right very often, just because I have another favorite extension cord, but it does come in handy when I do need it. In the summertime, the fan gets used all the time, and the speaker gets used during like finishing jobs when I don't need to wear my ISO tunes. I highly recommend this, and any shop I move into that has a garage door will be receiving one of these from now on. Right next to that is my robo reel. I've had this now for about 6 years, and it is easily the go-to extension cord in the shop. It goes, I believe, 50 feet, maybe 75 feet, and at the touch of a button, it rolls right back up. It stays neat and orderly and has proven its weight in gold here in the shop. They offer a couple other systems, such as a portable system that can be mounted on the wall and just picked up, taken with you. And I'm going to look at investing in one of those in my shop in the future. So now I'm going to answer some listener questions that were sent in. The first one is from Bear Creek Woodworking. It says, what are Jeremy's woodworking plans when he retires in a few years and becomes full-time? Well, my plans are just that, to go full-time. I'm going to be retired, so I'm going to have a pension coming in, which will help offset my income until my business really takes off, either content creation or through client builds. But if I have to work kind of part-time, 10 to 15 hours a week, maybe for like a woodworking store, Rockler, Woodcraft, something like that, or Home Depot, Ace, Lowe's, one of those, then I will. But ideally, I don't want to have to do that. The next one is from Prince Allen. Woodworkers are often as good in the bedroom as they are in the shop. Then he wants to know, can I fold a fitted sheet? Answer is yes. It takes me about 5 minutes, takes a lot of concentration. My brain actually probably hurts when I'm done. So yes, I can do it, but no, I don't take the time to do it. I wad that thing up in a ball, throw it into the closet, or better yet, only keep enough sheets really to cover every bed in my house. When I need to wash them, I take them off, wash them, put them right back on. Next question is from Daisy Girl April. This is Drew's wife. How do you put up with Drew? Well, April, let me ask you a question. How do you put up with Drew? You probably have a better answer than I do, but he's an alright fella by me. All right, the next one I have, in fact, I got two more and I don't know who they were sent in from. One of them is favorite project. My favorite project to date, probably at this point, is that baby doll crib that I just completed, and a video will be coming out shortly about it, because my daughter really asked me to do that. She was excited for me to do it, and she wanted it. She didn't want a store-bought one. She wanted Dad to build her a baby doll crib. So that is probably my favorite project to date, just because it means something to one of my kids. The last one I have is, how do you like doing a podcast? It's funny that you ask this, because sometimes it can be very stressful and very time consuming. But on the other hand, it is a blast because I get to hang out with two of my best friends every single time we sit down to record, and we usually end up talking for hours. And then we're tired the rest of the week because we stayed up like a bunch of high school kids talking to each other and just gossiping or doing whatever. So I love doing the podcast. We've been doing it since 2014, and we don't see the end in sight. In fact, we're getting ready to revamp it in the next coming season. And we're really going to talk a lot about this at Workbench Con, that we'll be doing a presentation on both Friday and Saturday coming up in February. But I like doing the podcast. It is time consuming and does require a lot of work, more than what most people actually realize. But it's a blast, and I'm glad I get to do it with two of my best friends, and even SamRyan from DIY Huntress when she likes to come back for an appearance. So I thank you guys for sending in those questions. Stay tuned for Sam's episode coming up, where we're going to get to see her in Gramps' shop and hear some answers from her questions.
Remember, guys, if you want to get in contact with us, you can always do it through our respected websites for individual contact. We each have a website, which is countrysideworkshop.com for Jeremy, rhwoodshop.com for myself, and samryandesigns.com for Sam. And if you want to get in contact with the podcast itself, just send us an email, kickback@woodshop101podcast.com. We also have a voicemail that you can call, which is 409-234-3959. If you want to leave us a voicemail, we can play it on air, answer any questions or feedback that you might have. And if you have the Voice Memo app on your phone, don't forget that has the best audio quality, and you can send it to the email that I just mentioned. So we want to thank you guys for tuning in to these special episodes, and we hope to see you guys in the new year with brand new material, and hopefully we can get our schedules nailed down to where we don't have to miss and do these kind of special episodes like this. So thanks a lot, guys. We hope you take care. Please be safe in your shops, and we'll talk to you on the next podcast episode. 1, 2, 3. Boom!